The Glock Carolina carry package from Wheaton Arms has been hugely successful, and Robbie got a number of guns from the original video. So we just wanted to go through and show you a lot of the processes in-house. We took them out to the range this morning and did a lot of shooting, and I'll tell you, we had zero flaws, zero malfunctions. It was just really a lot of fun to get those pistols out. But we just wanted to go through some of the reasons why some of the things were done to these pistols. Now, Robbie's getting these pistols out in a 2-week turnaround time, so it's really fast. You know, a lot of times when you send a gun to, especially a custom gun maker, somebody that's going to be doing a lot of work, it takes a while. And 2-week turnaround time is phenomenal. Also, the Such coupon code special is going to end April 30th. So if you're really planning on upgrading your Glock and sending it to Wheaton Arms, you'll want to go ahead and do so by the April 30th deadline. And so this is just a preview of a lot of the processes that are going on, and I hope you enjoy it.
So we've had a lot of people ask us about the slide lightning on these Glock slides, why we do it, and you know, what the reasoning is behind it. The biggest reason that we take weight out of the slide is to reduce recoil with the gun, or reduce muzzle flip. So we do the high power cuts on the front here to pull some weight out of the front, and then the cuts along the top here and here, again to pull some more weight out of the gun so you don't get as much muzzle flip with your pistol, which is one of the things that you want with a defensive gun. You want to be able to shoot and get back on target as quickly as possible for follow-up shots. So this just takes a little bit of muzzle flip out of the gun, along with the recoil spring. It helps the pistol to shoot a lot flatter. So with weight with your pistol, you have two different types of weight. You have what's called static weight, which is your guide rod, your recoil spring, all of your non-moving parts. And then you have cyclic mass, which is your slide, some of your other parts which move back and forth. So what we're trying to do here is increase the static weight with the guide rod, and then decrease the cyclic weight by pulling some weight out of the slide, and also by reducing the weight of the recoil spring, both of which help with maximizing recoil reduction on your pistol. So this is our Gen 3 guide rod recoil spring setup that we're using in all of our Carolina carry packages. The spring is tuned to the weight of the slide to help maximize the recoil reduction. And the steel guide rod helps add a little bit of weight to the front of the gun, which again helps with recoil. A couple of reasons why we went with steel over some of the other materials. One, steel it's a very durable guide rod, so you don't have to worry about breaking the head off back here on the rear like you do on the stock guide rods. And also, like I said, the steel guide rod, it does add a little bit of static weight to the gun, which helps with recoil as well. So we've had some questions about the undercut on the trigger guard here. And this one is one that we're in the middle of working on right now, so everything's just roughed in. The first question has been, why the undercut here? And the biggest reason for this undercut is a couple. One, it raises your hand up higher in the gun, so you get your hand closer to the center line of the bore axis. And two, it creates a little C channel here for your finger to go in, which gives you a nice little grip on the pistol. And then also we move the shelf forward so you don't end up with what I refer to as a Glock knuckle. You see the guys that shoot a Glock a lot, and they'll end up with a callus right here on their knuckle, just from the bottom of the trigger guard rubbing on their finger right here. So we relieve all of this just to make the gun fit a little better and be a little more ergonomic. We do this cut so the front sight will settle a little bit lower during recoil, and the gun will point a little bit lower. So basically, if you've got more material down here, when your support hand comes up, the gun is going to tend to want to point high. Where you take a little material out here, it's going to sit a little lower on your hand, and it's going to cause your sights to point a little bit lower. So the gun it points a little more naturally for you.
So now we know fiber optic sights are cool, but tell me about the advantages of using those on this Carolina carry package.
The biggest reason why we decided to go with the fiber optic sights over tritium night sights are the fiber optic sights give you a really good sight picture during daylight, and at night the fiber optic sights, they don't do anything. They're just like regular black sights. But if you're using a handgun at night, odds are you're probably going to be using a flashlight, and the fiber optic really picks up the light off of the flashlight. So that was our biggest reason with going with the fiber optics.
Well, they really show up great at the range, I know, when I'm shooting.
They do. They absolutely do. And one of the big reasons why we decided to use fiber optics over the night sights, the tritium night sights, a couple of reasons. One, the night sights are a little more expensive, and two, night sights are, okay, let me give you a perfect example here. So someone kicks in your door in the middle of the night. You grab your pistol and you go running down the hall to engage this person that's came in your home. You bring your pistol up, you line up the sights, and you fire the first shot with your whatever brand ABC critical defense ammunition. You fire the first shot, you get a huge muzzle flash, all you see is a big orange dot in front of your face, and now you can't see your night sights anymore. So they're great for one shot, and now you don't see anything. Whereas with the fiber optics, you grab your pistol, you grab your flashlight, you light the person up, but you're able to see your sights every time you pull the trigger.
Now, one question I have is really how durable are these, especially if you're going to use them out in the field or you're at the range?
The fiber optic sights, as you can see here, they're shrouded inside the metal body of the sight itself. There's if we cut the fiber optic across this notch and pulled it out, there's actually a groove all the way down the center of the sight. So there's only about half of the fiber optic that's visible. So it's completely shrouded inside the metal sight here. And the same thing on your rear sight. Your rear sights are completely shrouded by the metal body of the sight as well to protect the fiber optic. Now, with that being said, fiber optic does wear and it does break over time. You can see here on the end, normally what will happen, it won't break in the middle. One of the ends will snap off from recoil and the fiber optic will come out. We sell replacement fiber optics. It's about $1 for a couple of inches. But you clip it with a pair of fingernail clippers, heat one end with a lighter, slide it through your sight, clip it off about 1/8 of an inch long and melt the other end, and that's all you have to do to reinstall it. It's a pretty quick and simple process.
So it'd be pretty smart just to have a couple of these around.
It would, yep. Have some extra fiber optics just in case you do break one over time. One of the reasons why we decided to go with this particular sight setup over some of the others that are available are, as you can see the profile of these, all your edges are rounded. It's a no snag sight for a carry gun. So there's just a great sight to go on a carry gun that's not going to print. The sight's not going to dig into your body if you're carrying appendix. And then on the front sight, it's the height of the sight on the rear sight and the front sight is real low. So you've got a real low profile on your sight, so you don't have to worry about hanging them or snagging the sights on something and ripping your sight off of your pistol. So right now what I'm doing is recontouring the trigger bar, this piece here that contacts the striker safety in the slide. This is a stamped part from the factory, so it's got a lot of uneven surfaces on it, and what we're doing is just going through and smoothing all the surfaces and rolling all the edges and just cleaning up the stamping marks on the part.
Yeah, it's amazing what a difference that makes too.
It really smooths it out so the trigger doesn't have a gritty, crunchy feel to it. It's nice and smooth once we get finished with this. Now I'm just going through and radiusing the edges on this part and knocking all of the high parts from the stamping off of it. We'll do both sides, the inside and the outside. So now we've got a nice smooth radius on this part, which will transition real well with the modified button here. So you've got a nice rounded surface, everything just rolls well together, and there's no binding or anything. And then we'll go back and polish this part here also. So next what we'll do the outside of the trigger bar here. Again, it's a stamping, so you've got sharp edges on all this. We'll bevel all of these edges with a stone, and then we'll go back and polish this. That way it doesn't drag on the inside of the frame right here. The biggest area on the trigger bars, if you decide to do a trigger job on your Glock at home, one of the most important areas to not touch is this area right here. This is what engages your striker. This area here, this is called the crucifix. This part here, this is what actually engages your striker. A lot of guys will, or some people will stone this, and if you do, you can run the risk of your Glock going full auto on you and just having a runaway gun. So this area right here, don't touch this area. You know, I don't even recommend polishing the face of this. Just leave it completely alone, and leave this part of your connector stock.
Now, as successful as the Glock Carolina carry package was at Wheaton Arms, he got a lot of requests for the Smith & Wesson M&P series pistols. So Robbie's putting together a package now to run for the Carolina carry package for the Smith & Wesson M&P pistols. Watch for that. We're going to be doing a video series on that as well. So check out WheatonArms.com. Let Robbie know that Suit sent you, and coming up soon, Smith & Wesson M&P. And also remember that the Carolina carry package for the Glock pistols will end on April 30th. So if you're really wanting to get a Glock pistol upgraded to the Carolina carry package, get it out to WheatonArms.com, and make sure you mention Suit00 to get the discount. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. Oh yeah. With the AP9.
Woo! Come and get some! Safety glasses on, that's so fast, 45.
Because he's had so many requests